$1, $2, no-limit hold'em. Some say it is the most heart-pounding and stressful stakes to play.
I'm gonna throw the up.
That was one of the craziest things I've seen.
All in.
Join me for this home game poker journey that will leave you breathless.
Show us your feet.
I'm Kyle. Come join me as I dive into the ups and downs, the wins, the losses, and everything in between. From poker tips and strategies to behind-the-scenes looks at my life, there's a lot to explore. So hit that subscribe button, like the video, and ring the bell for notifications. Let's stack those chips together and enjoy the ride. This is K-Boule Poker.
Much faster than that, you know? And that car was like MSRP 60. It's very, very reasonable.
And the first hand of note, we look at ace-queen offsuit from under the gun, and we raise it right up there to $8, and we get 3 callers. So with ace-queen offsuit, we're going to go 4 players to the flop, and the flop is king, jack, 4, 2 diamonds. Not the worst flop. We flop a gutter and a backdoor flush draw, which is pretty good. So Bob checks, I check, and it makes it over to Rob, who bets out for $15. Now, Rob is just spectacular for stabbing at pots. So whether we all think he's full of shit or we're all on draws as well, all 4 players call Rob's $15 raise. So we're going to go off to a turn, which is the 7 of diamonds. I missed that gut shot, but I gained some equity with the flush draw, because now we're looking at the nut flush draw. So Bob checks again, and I'm going to check as well. I'm really kind of hoping for a free card and to bink my my diamond there. But Rob stabs out again for $35. Folds all around to me, but I'm going to call. I'm going to stick in there hoping for either a 10 or a diamond. So I'm going to call the $35, and we go to a 6 of spades on the river. Don't hit anything, and I tank for a while. Action is on me. But I'm just debating on whether to stab out here, because now I'm thinking Rob has a little bit of showdown value. He may have top pair, if not 2 pair, but he may have put me on the flush. So if I bet here, like I have the flush, I might be able to get him off of it. But I'm just not sure if I can get a player like Rob to drop top pair. So I tank for a while. I feel like the only way I'm winning this pot is to bet at it, so I follow my own advice, and I check, which is just fucking spectacular, because he then expresses how he was afraid of the flush and probably would have folded had I bet.
When he makes his bluff,
Like the idea is,
he's gonna say, I thought about it for a while, and I wanted to know how much value I could get out of Rob. He's been the aggressor the whole time. I'm hiding my flush. If I check down to him, I can check raise him. His 2 pairs no good. I'll check. This is for flush.
this is where I made a better move and didn't
So he checks his showdown value, which was actually a little better than showdown value. He flips over top 2 pair. He may be talking a big game. I don't think that he would have folded. So I think my check there kind of saved me money. But I should have been aggressive. The book says I should have been aggressive. The only way I was going to win that pot was to get him off of it at the end. But I just can't follow through with my own insight there. Next hand, we look down at king jack of diamonds from the big blind, and Rob's out for blood because he makes it $7 from the hijack position. I'm definitely in a 3-bet spot here, so I make it $20 to play. I probably would have gone bigger, but it's looking like I'm going to close the action here when Sean's holding his cards the way he did, so he folds. Rob's going to put in the call here, and we're going to go heads up to a flop of deuce of diamonds, ace of diamonds, 6 of hearts. Now, it's a pretty good flop, flopping the nut flush draw. My plan on out-of-position play here is to check, hoping Rob stabs like he usually does, and I plan on check-raising him, so he calls with his weak shit, and he'll re-raise me with his strong shit, so I know exactly where I am. But, of course, in this instance, Rob decides not to stab, and he checks right back to me, which makes me think he has absolute air. The turn then comes out the 3 of hearts. Now it's my turn to stab, so I'm going to bet $45, hoping to see where I'm at, and Rob folds almost instantly, so we'll pick up that pot and not really even have to work for it. Coming for you, Rob. $7 more with 3-5 offsuit? Nah, maybe later. Next hand to note, we are under the gun with the beautiful pocket kings, and we decide to open it up to $12. However, we get calls from the +1, +2, and Bob in the big blind. No 3-bets, which is good, but I still don't like going multi-way with kings. The flop comes out 9 of hearts, 3 of clubs, 4 of clubs. Bob checks over to me, and I'm going to bet over pot here for $55 because I really just don't like this and do not like being multi-way with kings. I do get folds from 1 and 2, but Bob cold calls me. I think he's most likely on a flush or a straight draw. And then the ace of hearts hits the turn. Bob checks once again, and I take a big risk here because there is an overcard now and the straight makes it, but I do shove on Bob, hoping he's on a club draw. Bob tanks for a second right before he says this.
There was a game, a couple games that ran.
He then folds and shows King 10 of diamonds, calling my flop overbet with 0 equity other than 2 overcards. I honestly forgot who I was playing with. I overthought it. I gave him too much credit there.
We got 3 players.
But it's funny, they were ragging on because they, in select stores, they started like a, before they opened, stores, they started like a flagship,
Come on, I gotta give the people what they want. They don't want that. Show us your feet.
And there weren't a lot.
Now it's time to get our revenge on Rob. We look down at ace-10 offsuit on the button, and there's an open from Kyle at under the gun, and Rob calls. Folds over to me, and I contemplate 3-betting, but just opt to call. We go 3 ways to a flop of 5, 5, 10, 2 clubs. There's a check from under the gun, and Rob open shoves for $46. Poor Rob's been bleeding for a while, so $46 isn't too intimidating. I debate on repopping here to isolate and get Kyle out of the hand, but I've been passive so far, so I'll just keep it up. I just call, and Kyle ends up folding anyway. We decide to run it once for max pain, and he flips over jacks. But no sweat because we hit our ace right on the turn for the 2 pair, and there is a blank on the river. Take that, Rob.
That's what you get for
And 2 overpair. You set a bad precedent.
I did.
We are now in the cutoff with the vlog's favorite hand, 3-5 of clubs. Now I'm facing a $7 open, and I only call because I've lost so hard to this hand that it has to eventually make up for my massive losses, right? What a gambler's fallacy, but I decide to gamble anyway. I throw the $7, and we go 4 ways to a flop of 5, 3, 5, rainbow. Holy shit. There's checks to Dave, and he stabs out for $15, and I elect to slow play this one and call. There's not much I'm scared of right now. We lose Rob, and we go 3 ways to a 7 of spades turn. Dave stabs again for $25. Now here is where I'm debating on raising. But I feel like if I call, I might be facing a river shove from Dave. If this is a perfect world, I would love that. So I just call, and there's another call from the button, so we're still 3 ways to a river of the king of spades. Now Dave decides to slow down. Are you kidding me? That was a perfect river shove. He might be afraid of that flush. I really wish that river was more of a blank, but I now decide to go for some thin value. I bet $55 into a pot of about $150, making it like 2/3 pot. I'm giving him great pot odds to call. But of course, the button folds, and Dave tanks for a while, wondering what I have.
You sit with trips for your flush.
And he folds a 5.
Jordan Small was not. We played 5 rounds. We did 4 full rounds. I'm so proud of myself for that.
That was a good fold. He says he was afraid of the flush, but he makes a great fold. That last fucking card killed me. story time with this next hand. I'm a little tilted, surprise, surprise, because the previous hand, I flopped 2 pair against this little and he ended up sucking out on me, and I'll tell you why. I flopped the 2 pair, he opens, I raise, he min-click raises me, just like the last home game vlog, and he had nothing, so I was like, none of this BS. I shoved all in with bottom 2 pair, and he tank calls me with an open-ended straight draw. You know what? He doesn't even hit his straight, he hits runner 2 pair. Higher 2 pair than me. I would have felt better if he just hit a straight, but of course he hits runner 2 pair, sends me over the edge, I get felted, have to buy back in, and this is the very next hand. So I raise it to that, and he raised it to that. And now I'm gonna go $1.40. As you angrily heard, I opened to 12 for middle position. Our buddy Matt to our left raised it to 40. I then 4-bet to 140, and he tanks for a couple of seconds, but eventually makes the call. Now, he doesn't 5-bet rip it, which is good. I can kind of maybe exclude aces, kings, and queens, but ace, king, ace, queen, still in that range. I don't think he would have 10s or less with a 4-bet pot, but it is 1-2, and it is Matt, like you know from my previous vlogs. He is a pretty splashy player, kind of unpredictable. Just hoping for a clean flop, which of course does not come. We're looking at ace, 6, deuce, rainbow. I check to see what's going to happen, and I should have known it. Matt rips it all in, and I instantly fold, and he needles with pocket 9s. We were good. He made a great call. I definitely think he exploited my tilt. He really earned that pot with the pocket 9s. I can't even be mad. All right, so the tilt continues, and to add insult to injury, I've also been card dead for the past few hours. So it's time to make a move. And what better position to make that move than on the button with Jack 7 offsuit. So there's a few limps and then an open to $10 from the cutoff to my right. And I'm going to 3-bet with my premium here to $35. Folds all around, and the cutoff decides to call, and we go heads up to a flop of 3, 3, 4, 2 diamonds. The cutoff then checks to me, and I c-bet for $35, even though that flop would not have hit the picture I'm trying to paint. But now I'm hoping he puts me on a high pocket pair, aces, kings, queens, something like that. But he decides to float me anyway. Now the turn's the 8 of clubs, and he checks again in the dark, and I jam. If he's chasing anything or has something small, an all-in is obviously the only size that's going to make it work. It does. After tanking for a little bit, he does muck, and I couldn't help but to show my absolute garbage.
Yeah.
I have to make the fucking shitty hands
Even
work.
like if Sean's like, I need a break, like how he's just like, I would have beat that.
No, I had the nuts. And just a single orbit later, we get deja vu when there are a few limps around and open from the cutoff to $10. And then I'm going to 3-bet to $35 with my ace, king of spades. Folds all around except the cutoff, who calls, and we go to a flop heads up to ace, jack, 5, 2 clubs. Cutoff then pretty quickly throws a good $100 tower out there, and I then jam all in. Hoping he has a weaker ace here, or maybe like a mid-pocket pair. He thinks about it for a few seconds, but does end up putting in the call and showing ace 4 of diamonds. We decide to run it twice, and no 4 and no diamonds come, so we scoop and score a nice double up. All the decent hands of note seems to be when I'm on the button, but here we are again, on the button, and Rob opens to $7 from the under the gun, and I'm going to call this one a tad light with 8-10 offsuit. And we go 3 ways in position to a board of deuce, 7, 6, 2 hearts. I scored a gut shot straight draw, but that's about it. Rob c-bets for $35, which is definitely within character, and I honestly debate on raising here, again, making him call with his weak shit and raise off his strong shit so I would know where I am, but I just opt to float and see a turn. The big blind comes along as well, and we score top pair with the 10 of hearts. The big blind checks, and Rob quickly goes to bed again, not really taking the time to contemplate what we may have, but he picks a size that screams get out, not really come play, I want your money. Rob makes it $75, I call, and the big blind folds. We go heads up to a river of the 4 of clubs. Now I'm thinking, if Rob checks, he probably has some kind of weak showdown value, but if he bets, he has absolutely nothing. He knows the only way he's going to win that pot is with a bet on the river, and he comes out with another $75. I snap call. Yes, I have top pair, but I was playing Rob's hand. I honestly would have called if I had ace high. And my read was right. Look at Rob's face, the defeat. Yeah.
Gut shot, it's just like gut shots, Major?
Gut shot, and then, but you're just c-betting. You're just c-betting.
I'm giving you bad pot odds to get you off your flush draw.
I wasn't playing my draw at that point. I was playing you. On the button again, I look down at pocket eights, and there's an open of $15 from Rob, sitting in the under the gun +1 position, and there are 2 callers. So I 3-bet to get some dead money, and I make it $100 to play. I'm hoping to not see a flop, but the cutoff is a glutton for punishment or is out for revenge, and he calls. I don't have much behind, so I plan on jamming anything that comes on the board. The board comes out 5 of clubs, 4 of spades, jack of hearts. The cutoff checks, and like I said, I jam all in. He calls, and this is one of the biggest pots of the night, and I gotta be honest, I'm sweating a little bit. Before we see each other's cards, we decide to run it twice, and it comes King of Hearts, Ace of Clubs on the first board, which I can't be good, and King of Diamonds, 10 of Diamonds on the second board. I think I'm crushed here. What you got?
Turn him up. Who wants to win?
I get a 3.
Wait, what?
Oh, 3.
What the
Ah, shit, I would have.
You guys are sick. That's wild.
My guy calls a $100 pre-flop 3-bet of with pocket 3s, and I have 8s and they hold. What just happened? Anyway, midnight, 1 o'clock rolls around, and we decide to rack up our chips and head home. What a fun session, though. I bought in for 300, got felted, bought in for another 300, so I'm in for 600, ended up cashing out for 900, so made exactly $300. But the past couple sessions, we've made a little bit, chipping away, 100 here, 112 here, 300 now. Looks like we're on our upswing finally, so for all of you that stuck around during my losses, I hope I don't lose you when I start winning. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. It really helps the channel. If I do start losing again, I would like to know that I'm doing this for something. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram at KBouletPoker. I post some funny stuff on there sometimes. I don't know. I think that's it. I'll see you on the next one. If you want to keep watching my videos, they should be up on your screen now. If YouTube's doing their job, which they usually do, feel free to continue watching my stuff. All right. See ya.